Hey, podcast listeners, this is an audio version of a video showing everything that I have in my bag normally. Because this is a video, hopefully everything will come over okay on an audio-only version. I will have pictures in the chapter markers to see some of the stuff I'm talking about, but I will also have a link to the full video in the description for you if you want to go check that out. But I didn't want to leave you guys out in a lurch and not get some of this information or any other stuff that I'm talking about with this. Big Loyal Podcast this year. So thanks a lot. Hey everybody, Beerleaguer here. This time with a What's in My Bag video. The classic What's in My Bag video that I think everybody kind of does. Funnily enough, this is probably the first video that I put out way long ago. And yeah, not a ton of stuff has changed since then, but I'm sure nobody saw that. So I thought I'd do an updated what's going in my bag for a summer hockey game. And I will talk about some of the stuff that goes a little bit differently. Also, kind of give a little rundown on some of the gear that I have. Not a ton. Won't go super in-depth into it. I will have links around for any in-depth gear reviews that I have about any of the stuff that's in here. And all right, start things off. We're going to talk about the bag real quick. So what I have here is you can read everything on it. It is a Pacific Rink bag. This is actually a Pacific Rink goalie bag. I have had a Pacific Rink bag before. Loved it. Unfortunately, side handles came off. Couldn't be reattached because they just completely ripped apart. The shoulder straps, both straps where they're connected to, ripped apart. And one of the zippers started to go. It was an original Pacific Rink bag from their Kickstarter, so way long ago. It's the bag I've used longer than any other bag. Really liked it, and was looking to get another one when I needed a new bag. And I came across this. Found it on Sideline Swap for a really good deal. It's a goalie bag, so it's a little bit bigger, which can be a little bit unwieldy when you just have player gear, but I usually have a lot of crap in my bag anyways. So, I thought, why not? And the deal is too good to pass up. So it's a goalie bag. So if it looks a little bit oversized for stuff, that's why. All right. So there are some things that I do pretty much permanently keep in my bag all the time. And I'll show those. One, this is like the dry bag, laundry bag that comes with a Pacific Rink bag. And I actually use it for my socks. So I keep my hockey socks in here along with, I use elastic sleeves over my shin guards instead of any kind of tape or anything like that. I just find it holds better. So I have all the socks in this bag, and this stays in my hockey bag all the time. Also, I have it's a little skate towel. This is honestly completely unnecessary thing to have, but I got it for free. And it's almost like a little shanty kind of thing that I do usually wipe my skates off before I put them away. And good tip, you should be wiping your blades off, even if you use the blade protectors and stuff. Use your skate socks or something like that and just wipe them real quick, just to help prevent any kind of rust. But yeah, I have this guy. It never leaves the bag, and I usually use it. I also have a little tape bag that I think a lot of people have this kind of thing in their hockey bag. There's some cool stuff in here, I think. I think it's cool. Hope other people do too. So what I keep in here is, this is like a little craft case, but in it is a helmet repair kit, along with, it's actually two different helmet repair kits, because I found helmet repair kits don't completely cover everything you should have for a helmet. So it's two different brands, helmet repair kits, and it also has in some of the little denim buttons that I use to keep the suspenders for my hockey pants. So I have extra ones in here of that as well. So just in this nice little two-sided craft kit. In this travel soap container, I have my favorite wax I've ever used. It's seaweed wax. It has seen better days. It is old. It has been used a lot, but I use it kind of all the time for my wax. It's kind of my go-to wax, and it's my favorite one. And it's kind of a weird wax. It actually smells really nice, and I like having it in a soap container because it's like a bar form, and that keeps it, kind of keeps moisture out of it a little bit. Not great, but sort of. Also keeps it from getting everything else all waxy, which is nice. Then I also have two other little tools in here. I have, this is my Custom Skateworks blade tool. It's got all the stuff on it to change out my blades if I need to very easily. It's a little bit nicer then the tools that come with the skates. And then I have, this is just a magic stick. I think almost everybody has something like this in their bag for an emergency. I don't want to say sharpening, but an emergency fixing an edge on a skate. This one also has in it a little screwdriver that honestly is kind of useless because it's so little, but it's better than nothing. But yeah, a little magic stick in here that I think almost everybody has. I also have, these are like camp shower wipes. I have a whole thing I did about this, and there's a whole discussion going on over on TikTok if you haven't seen about showering and not showering after games. The place I play in the summer, the showers are not working over the summer, so I've been using these to not feel disgusting after games. Also in here, to me, very important, nail clippers. I hate having a hangnail before I go out to play hockey, and I don't know, I feel like if I have a hangnail, I just feel it the whole time I'm doing stuff. So I have them in there. I don't know how much I use them, but I have them because why not? On the other side here, what do I have? I have this kind of a little bit more normal hockey stuff. I have a Sharpie, just because it's good to have. I have a little stubby screwdriver that has a whole bunch of bits in the end of it. Love this little stubby screwdriver. This is a Stanley brand one. It's a real cheap one, but it is very, very nice. It's also ratcheting, so that way it's real quick to, fix something on your helmet or whatever, or on your skate if you need it, but like that. Tiny scissors, because, for tape. Then a different kind of wax. I've yet to use this wax, but I have a separate thing of wax in here, another one. And then 2 kinds of tape, white tape, and then I have the pry tape. This is what I usually use on the blades of my stick, and white tape, just so I have a different kind of tape if I need it for something on there. So there you go. That's everything that's in my little stick bag, in my little tape bag, dop kit thing that, I don't know what you call that. Also things that I usually have in my bag pretty much at all times is I keep a whiteboard for my team. If we have a lot of guys show up and we have any kind of confusion of like lineups or anything like that, I like to have the whiteboard here so that way I can really easily, put a lineup out there. Everybody can see it, know who you're following. There's no questions. Just saves confusion of it. Also, for me, this is one nice thing about the Pacific Rink bag. You can unzip the back here when the thing's open, actually get into the top dry pouch, which I love having the dry pouch. And I always keep my jerseys in here. I always have jerseys. I have all my jerseys, home and away, just because I've had instances where, you're set to be the home team. The other team thinks they're the home team. And then somebody's got to switch jerseys. And I always tell everybody, hey, just bring the other jersey just in case too. So I always keep both jerseys in there. I also keep in another, this is like a camping, fishing container. I don't know. It's watertight. It's a watertight container. And it's got stuff for a first aid kit. Most rinks usually do have a first aid kit somewhere. They should have AEDs that you should know where they're at and stuff like that. But this has got like little stuff like, a couple different types of like gauze things if you have a bigger cut for something, just so you have something to put over it, instead of having to, just use hockey tape or whatever. And some bandages. I've also got like some Advil and Tylenol and stuff in here, just kind of emergency things. And then I do have one instant cold pack too. But the rink should have all this stuff too. But just if something comes up, I know a lot of guys wind up not wanting to go to the front desk and ask something or whatever. And if you're playing late night, maybe you can't find the person that's supposed to have this stuff. So, I like having something like this, and it's easy just to have in there. I've used very few things in here in the years that I've had this, in the 12, 15 years that I've had this in my bag. I think I've used like 3 Band-Aids out of here for things, but why not have it just in case? So that's kind of stuff that always lives in here. Other things I usually have an extra set of blades. This is another set of Blade Tech blades. This is the container that they come in, really like that. Same things, throw it up in here in the dry part with the jerseys. Never really deal with it. These are just for an emergency, just in case something happens. And I also always keep a grocery bag for anything. It's handy to have. I do use these a lot because some of our rinks really don't want you to have alcohol in the locker room. Wink, wink. And this is the way to kind of pack it out if you need to. So just stuff I keep in there that. Let me take a quick moment to invite you to head over to thebeerleaguer.com, where you can check out previous podcast episodes, keep up with all the goofy and sometimes informative social media posts, and contact the show. There's an easy-to-use contact form, a button to leave voicemails, and a newsletter sign-up. All of us here would love to hear your thoughts on this episode or ideas for future ones. Now back to the show. You know, if I don't need it, I don't need it. I'd rather have it and not need it than not have it and need it, kind of thing. So, all right, now on to kind of the regular gear stuff. So I have my skates. These are my Easton Mako 2s. Love these guys. These are amazing skates. I love how they feel. They are insanely comfortable for me in my giant feet. If something were to happen to them, I don't know. I guess I'd probably next up for me would be custom skates, which are insanely expensive, just because they do have big feet and it makes it tough to find skates. But I love these Mako 2s. I do have in them the Super Feet. I think those are super, super comfortable. I haven't tried some of the other newer insoles that are out there, but I love the Super Feet. They make the skates really nice. I do also have the replacement black runner holders, whatever you call them here, because mine did crack like 2 or 3 years ago. They had a huge crack in one of them, like puck hit it and there's a chunk missing. So I had to get new ones. So I got black ones, and then I have the black Blade Tech blades. Really like those. They keep an edge very long. And yeah, that's what I've been running with for the last couple of years. And I really enjoy it. All right, now we have the hockey pants. These are Verbero Mercury pants. I really enjoy these hockey pants. They are a really nice size, I think. They have a good amount of protection, I feel. I feel that they are great pants, but they do have one big downside to me is I don't think the belt is very good on them. And also the suspender holders are not great. They don't hold up very well. So I've replaced those suspender rivets with my own rivets. I have a video talking about doing that. It's a really easy thing to do, and that has made a world of difference. So I can wear these. I'm a suspender guy more so than a belt guy. I just think it's way more comfortable to kind of have the pants floating around there instead of having to like draw the belt in and have it tight so it stays on me pretty good. I just think the suspenders are a little bit nicer of a way to have them. So these are Verbero Mercury pants. Like I said, they're also pretty cheap pants because the Verbero stuff is usually pretty cheaply priced. But yeah, I really like those. Next up, we have my shoulder pads. These are some Easton Synergy shoulder pads. These are old. They're beer league shoulder pads. A lot of guys don't wear them. I like to be geared up because I don't trust myself enough that I'm not going to do something dumb and fall or run into boards or something like that. So I like having shoulder pads. They're not the most protective, but they are protective enough for me. I have repaired the shoulder caps. They just came undone over years. I've had these guys for probably 14 years, 15 years now, and they're holding up just fine. They don't get a ton of use. It's beer league. It's shoulder pads. Another nice thing I really like about having the goalie bag is I can actually use the divider in here. When I had the regular player bag, these two sides weren't quite big enough for my stuff. I could stuff all my gear in with the divider up, but it wasn't great. Whereas the goalie bag is big enough that everything, I can just throw it in and I don't have to worry about it, which is really nice. All right, gloves. These are my CCM gloves. I don't know what the style is, but they are brown and I like them and they are comfortable and I think they look cool because they are brown. I always wanted brown gloves and so I got some and I like them. I have nothing else to say about that. Elbow pads, very similar to the shoulder pads. I've had these forever. These are some Bauer 1.6 shoulder pad or Bauer 1.6 elbow pads. They are super basic. They are not super protective, but they are protective enough on the actual elbow. So if I do fall on my elbow, which has happened, fall unexpectedly and hit your elbow, I'm not, completely shattering my elbow or anything like that, which is what I'm scared of and why I wear these. yeah, but don't have much to say about them. They were kind of the cheapest ones I could find that did have at least some kind of protection in them back when I got them, and actually fit. They fit pretty nice. They stay up decently. You can see they're kind of tall. They kind of go up your elbow a little bit more so than some other ones do. So they do stay okay. But that's probably more so of the stuff I'm wearing under them, whether or not they're going to stay up or slide down or anything. But yeah, Bauer 1.6 elbow pads, beer leaguer approved. Okay, shin guards. I used to go through shin guards like crazy. I used to go through at least a pair of shin guards a year because I used to block a lot of shots. And then especially when I played roller hockey, I would always be sliding around trying to block shots. They would just rip the crap out of these things. So I have tried a lot of shin guards. I have liked a lot of shin guards. And these guys, I love them. These are Easton somethings. Easton with some zero shock technology. I don't know. They are old. I got them from a guy that used to be on my team because they were too big for him. He didn't like how bulky they were. I love how bulky they are because for me, shin guards, there's a couple things I need for shin guards to be comfortable for me. One, the size needs to be correct, but I also need a nice pocket for my knee. These have a really nice gel pocket in there, removable liner like most shin guards have, but have that. But for me, more importantly, they have protection on the calf. I always want calf protection. So either that's, wraps around all the way and covers, or like this has a separate little piece that sits there. I always like having that calf protection just in case. One, it's good in case, worried about getting cut or anything like that. But man, I have taken pucks back there because you don't notice it and it hurts so bad, or that's, getting slashed or hit on a follow through of a shot or something like that. That's one of those spots that I just feel like I get hit a lot. So having that, just some kind of protection, this is nice because it is a hard plastic with a little bit of foam around it. It makes a world of difference to me. That has been a huge thing for me when I am looking for shin pads, is to have that calf protection. These have those. So these are super old Easton guys that have lasted a couple of seasons for me, at least. I like them. Okay, last kind of real equipment that I have in my bag. This is the newest to me. This is a CCM Tax helmet that I just over the summer here, one of the guys on my team had bought this for himself. He didn't find it comfortable and was like, "Does anybody need a helmet?" And my old helmet right here which is a old Warrior helmet that is old. The best used by date or whatever this is, expiration date was 2022. This is an old helmet that has been good, but I knew it was getting old, and helmets are one of the things that I think you should actually keep up on and not be using a super old one. So I got this from a guy on my team. It's been really nice. It's, like I said, CCM Tax. It's got called their Nest Tech inside. So it's kind of like a little bit of mesh and then honeycomb mesh inside. I found it to be really comfortable. It's really nice. It fits my big noggin, which is a big sore spot for me to try and find a helmet, and this has worked. One thing that I do find a little odd with it, and I'm not sure, I haven't used it enough to really know, is the chin cup here it's kind of like a foamy, it's a soft foam. I'm used to them being a little bit more of a hard foam, but this is like a soft foam material. And sometimes my beard kind of gets caught on it or stuck with it. Not really sure what to make of that, or if that's like a normal thing that has happened or what, but that is a thing there. So yeah, there you go. That is my helmet. Other things that I do keep in my bag is I will have a laundry bag. This is a St. Louis Blues laundry bag. And in here, when I'm going to games, I will take kind of my under hockey clothing with me. So, like my socks, if I'm not wearing them, or also the pants and shirt and stuff, if I'm not wearing them, will all go in here. Also my towel, if I'm showering at the rink, will go in here. And then these things will go back in here when they are dirty and stinky. So like right now what I have in here is my current socks that I'm using, which are my A-Cane socks, my A-Cane shirt, and then because it's summer and it's warm out, these are some, because it's summer and it's warm out, these are some Eagle branded shorts. You know, they got the Velcro and everything for them. So yeah, so these guys will go in there, and then this will get replaced by the stuff will go back in there and be stinky. And it's very easy to just take this out and throw it into the laundry instead of having to separate everything out, you know, from my bag. Really is when I get in the door, I can take this out, throw it into the wash or throw it into the hamper, and boom, done. And then finally, last thing I have is my little backpack bag, I don't know what you call these little bags, little drawstring bags. That has a bunch of random goodies and stuff in there, and I actually take this on the bench with me usually. I have in here a little towel for whatever needs that I might have. This is a gaiter that I did use when we were playing during COVID times. So we had to have some kind of face covering. I had this on. I can also use this as a backup like head covering because I do usually wear like a little skull cap to keep the sweat out of my eyes, and I can use this for that if I need to. I have an extra elastic sleeve that I can use for my shin guards. I also have in here all the little names. I have all my players' names for my team on little magnetized printouts from a little label maker that I can use on that whiteboard that I showed because my handwriting is terrible and people have trouble reading it. I have my normal pair of rec specs that I wear. Usually I have an extra pair of rec specs somewhere in my bag in some pocket. Have my visor spray for anti-fog for the rec specs. A little pouch that came with my rec specs that if I didn't want to use the elastic band to go around, I could use these little temples that are in here, but it also has a fine point marker and another dry erase marker, again for the dry erase board. Fine point marker, just if I need to mark up something. I have used it in the past for giving somebody a game puck, taking the white tape, putting around the puck and marking whatever it is. I have done that before, so handy to have that. Also in here, I have an extra puck. I don't know why. You just wind up with extra pucks kind of everywhere. I have a headband if I need it. If for some reason I don't have my head covering thing, I can use my headband there as well. And then I also have a random butt cap for a stick because we find those a lot, and I will usually take some of those if nobody claims them because we do wind up losing a lot of those throughout a game. I don't know, they fall out of people's sticks all the time. And every so often, if I don't have an extra one with me, I will take one if there's one sitting around that no one has claimed, just to have it in case someone needs one. So that's kind of everything in this little bag. I will also usually, during games, I'll take this bag. I will throw my phone and my keys in there and take this to the bench with me. Just because I like to have, if I need to have, the towel for whatever, it's nice to have that. I have the extra headband if for whatever reason I need something like that. Also having my phone and keys. It has happened over the years that people have had stuff stolen out of the locker room. Nobody on my team has had that happen to, but it has happened. So I figure this is one of those, it's handy to take this with me to the bench. Might as well throw the most valuable things I have in here because that's what people are trying to steal and have those there. I don't ever have my wallet with me. It's usually locked up in my car, so I don't have to worry about that. The only stuff that changes for the fall from summer is in this little drawstring bag that I take with me to the bench. I will also have money to give to the referees because I need to do that for every game, and lineup cards for my team that I will give to the scorekeeper every game and use that marker to cross off guys that aren't there. So I'll have that. And then instead of having shorts with me to wear for games, I'll have sort of long pants. But honestly, I'm usually wearing those under whatever pants I'm wearing to the game and not changing into them. So that's kind of the only differences you have between summer and fall equipment stuff for me. Everything else is pretty much the same. I do also usually have in here, like I said, if the summer we're not able to shower at the rink, I do usually have some kind of like a spray deodorizer and some sort of a all-in-one body wash, shampoo, conditioner, shaving gel, everything else kind of thing. And I'll throw those in the bag too and use those. That's they have that for everything. I will also throw in a water bottle. The nice thing with Pacific Rink bags is they do have this handy little pouch behind where your skates live in the little skate sleeves. And one of those usually has in it all my shower stuff. One of those will usually have then my water bottle in there. And it's secured, not flopping around, because I do fill it up at home. One thing that I have found is if you just have your water bottle sit in the bag, a lot of times, at least for me, I always would have the luck where if I filled it up at home, threw it in my bag, then somehow something is sitting on top of it for the ride there, and it's just spraying out over everything. So I'd have it out of my bag. Those little pouches to keep it in place has been really nice and really handy. So there you go. That is everything that I have in my bag for the summer 2025, and a little explanation on some of the things. If there's anything in here you want to hear a little bit more about, or reasons why I have or don't have something, let me know. Love to hear what you think. Thanks a lot, everybody. Catch you in the next one.